That's why the Common Agricultural Policy was created. It's all very well for the Americans to talk. They subsidize their agriculture. If you're a New Zealander, you try and export lamb into the United States and see what happens. Of course they protect their agriculture, but they don't seem to realize that we are determined to give our agricultural workers just as reasonable a standard of living as the industrial workers. And our farmers want price reviews which will give them proper prices. Now, Peter Bolgar, as the Minister of Agriculture, says this loud and clear in the House of Commons. I would urge every farmer in this country to stand up and say it loud and clear. And that'll knock on the head a lot of the nonsense which the Teddy Taylors and so on of this world are talking.
Mr. Heath, you're playing a very vigorous role in politics again this year, as I said at the beginning, and I'm sure everybody's very glad to see that. Tell me, have you actually given up in your heart the idea that you might once again be Prime Minister of this country, if not as leader of the Conservative Party of a government of national union?
No, I don't think about those things at all. I think the time has come now when I can say what I think ought to be said. I can say it in the House of Commons, and I can say it on an occasion like this, and I'm grateful to you for giving me the opportunity of saying it.
And given what you say, and the social crisis that you see in really very, very dire terms indeed, do you think that the Conservatives under Mrs. Thatcher could still win the next election?
I never look into the crystal ball. I learned when I was Chief Whip and when I was leader of the party and when I was Prime Minister that you don't really gain anything by trying to look into the crystal ball. And I thought that was perfectly clear.
Not a very positive answer.
Not a positive answer?
Not really.
Well, I'm quite prepared to tell you my analysis of the situation, but you haven't got time for it.
I'm afraid we'd have to leave it there. That's all from Saturday Briefing for tonight. We'll be back next week at the earlier time of 7:05. Until then, from us all here, good night.
Radio 4 tomorrow morning begins a new series on the future developments of broadcasting, opening up a debate between the listening public and the professionals under the independent chairmanship of George Scott. Broadcasting tomorrow begins on Radio 4 tomorrow morning at 11:15. Tracy Ullman, Lenny Henry and David Copperfield, three of a kind, entertain on BBC1 now. BBC2's transmission of Wagner's Ring continues tomorrow with Act 1 of Twilight of the Gods, the final opera in the cycle. Twilight of the Gods starts tomorrow at 8 on 2 with stereo sound on Radio 3. Now, BBC2 presents one of the most delightful of Hardy perennials, that classic Ealing comedy with Alec Guinness and Stanley Holloway at the helm of The Lavender Hill Mob.